everybody. Welcome back. All right. Welcome back to the Stop It, Steve. Welcome back to the show, everybody. You're listening to Waxy Brown's Flower Power Hour, brought to you live from the Robust Cannabis Studios at KKID 92.9. Before we even get started, I want to say, if you're out there, check us out on Facebook. We're over there on the our interactive page there, and you want to check us out on YouTube as well, so you guys can get into the comments and get involved with the show a little bit. And we love to have you guys on there. And thanks for listening today. Great big shout out. The whole team's here. We're back from 420. Justin's nestled down there in New Mexico, Route 66 Labs. Justin, we really appreciate all the work you've done over the last couple weeks with 420 and getting the show going down there at Smokey River Entertainment District, and for always not being on mute when we don't need you to be on mute.
That's something like that.
Right on. How was your train ride back, brother?
It was good. Kept plenty of my Trojan horse cannabis hemp derived drinks on hand, and woke up in La Junta, Colorado.
The key word, He slept 20 hours on a 16-hour ride home.
I want to get Justin a T-shirt that says Farm Bill compliant. Because he loves it. Go ahead.
And I might have the only case of Yingling Lager in the whole state of New Mexico. We don't have it yet.
Oh, yeah, you picked that up over here, didn't you? That was new for us. Do you smuggle beer back? Most people, when
it's Amtrak. You don't have to smuggle anything.
Someone earlier asked me, like, Waxy, now that weed's legal, like, how's it feel to not do crime anymore? And I'm like, well, everything's smuggling now. Whether I move something from here to there, I don't know. Like, it's so I don't know. But wow, welcome back to the show, everybody. We had we were going to do our live show last week out at Smokey River, but we had a little kerfuffle. I don't know if that's the right word or not, for not having Wi-Fi.
I've never had my phone go to a SOS only signal where your signal strength is up in that upper left-hand corner of your phone, or if you have an iPhone.
Well, where you were at was as far away from the Wi-Fi at Smokey River as could be. You were in the back corner compared to where the production is, where they had all that.
Oh, everything was set up front.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're going to put their own tower up there and everything like that.
Yeah, and we're going to talk all about the event too, because we had a great time up there.
Absolutely,
I'd say. Yeah. So let's get into that, guys. 420 went by. And obviously it's 420 all the time with us, but the holiday flew on past. We had a good time doing it. Steve, I want to ask you, you came to Smokey River after all the vendors were already set up. Party was kind of in motion.
Right.
What was going through your head when you pulled into that area? Because I try to tell everybody it's bigger than you think till you get here.
Well, okay, so when we called and you told us we needed to go park over on the other side of the highway in the vendor parking lot, we got that figured out. Got a ride back on the trolley, or the bus, or whatever you want to call it. But she said you need to walk all the way around and go in the front entrance. And I mean, I didn't have any idea of going to a front gate and saying, "Hey, I'm a vendor," blah blah blah, because you had my vendor passes. The gate that was over there, that big orange gate that was kind of set behind the second stage.
Yeah.
We saw some people walking in there, and there wasn't a guard there and everything. And so I was walking around, like, oh, well, let's just go right in there. And then we looked right off to our left, and we seen the KKID tent. So we walked over there, and you gave us our passes. But other than
what do you think of the party?
Man, I tell you what, the way
you told us how you got from your car to the gate. What'd you think?
It's circumvented security, which is probably not something they want to talk about.
Okay. We're deadheads, dude. We are not going to do it the right way, I promise.
Well, we just followed some other people in, so we figured that's where the vendor entrance was.
What did you think of the party?
The party was great, and the way they had it set up from the standpoint of having the all ages area, and then you had your other gate where you had your Canna Village. Unbelievable. The second stage with the balcony on the top where you can get up and go in there and look around and get a whole panoramic view.
Yeah.
And then just the entire setup. Talk about pro.
Man. Yeah, you've been to a lot of these things. Yeah, like since
Well, I mean, think about, just huge festivals to where, and you expect that when they're staying, they're throwing down and putting on a festival. So,
when you go into the Cannabis Village side of this area, we're talking about Smokey River Entertainment District, which is right outside of Kansas City. It's a gigantic consumption festival ground, amphitheater. All this is in there. I have to say, like, when you go into Cannabis Village, it was like its own party, right? Like inside there. And if it was just its own thing, we would have all been happy. Like if that was just the party right there. But then you step out into the all ages area, and I was met by a crowd of what had to have been 8,000 people. Like absolutely insane. And I looked around, man, and I tried to find an unhappy person. I tried to find somebody that was just not didn't want to be there, and it just wasn't there, right? There wasn't any. There was so much excitement, and all I kept hearing from people over and over was, "I can't believe that this is happening." Like it was over and over. It was very much the pinch yourself thing. Justin, what do you think, man? What did you think of the event?
I mean, I thought I underestimated Missouri's coldness this time of year.
Oh,
yeah, wearing a kilt and a bamboo shirt with nothing else underneath it might have been a bad idea, but thanks to Phil for bringing me my coat, my fleece, so I can stay warm. But yeah, I mean, it was a blast.
Justin, you can't step out in Missouri with just your berries on the branch, man. You got to cover up, bro.
Got to be traditional. That's the way it goes. But I mean, everybody we ran into was great. It was great catching up with people I hadn't seen in person for a long time. They've been phone calls or emails for months and all that. And then, the team at Smokey River did a great job of taking care of everybody. I even stopped and talked to some of the EMTs that were walking around. I'm like, is this the easiest concert you've been to? And like, oh man, we just hand people water and snacks and tell them to sit down for a bit. They're good to go.
Yep. That's the problem.
I mean, that was it. I mean, it was great. And lots of fun, lots of friendly conversations and lots of cool things. And I think a lot of people responded really well to Captain Crossfade that got a chance to try it, which is a whole other ball game.
I want to talk all about that in a little bit too. I do want to big shout out to Smokey River Entertainment District for having the cannabis care team on deck in case there were any issues, because some people can overdo it, in any situation.
Absolutely.
So they did have folks there on deck who were cannabis specialists, nurses, April Hatch and the team, who, if there was an incident, they were able to respond and react to it. And the cool part, right, about weed is like responding to someone taking too much weed is really calming them down, hydrating, maybe even a little bit of CBD if necessary, and then just making everyone in the room understand that we'll be done with that in just a little bit, but we'll be back. Whereas like alcohol, it's a totally different story, right? Like, if you had 10,000 people in that venue, and let's say it was I'll just name a country star, Garth Brooks concert, right? And everybody's drunk, you're going to have, whether you like it or not, you're going to have a percentage of those folks that are going to get into fights, whether it's over a seat or an ex-girlfriend, whatever it is. They're not going to sit there and be like, we should talk about it, bro. It's not going to be like that, right? So here, even myself, like, I don't get along with everybody, and I saw everybody, and like there was no anything hostile or anything weird other than just big giant smiles and grins, and knowing that time in Missouri at 420, we had a gigantic win there when Smokey River opened the doors of that concert, and it sold out. Minutes before the doors open, that thing sold out, which it's an inaugural event in a brand new place with brand new laws, brand new rights. How did that happen so well? It's that team.
Yeah, it's totally, I mean, when you just think about how they laid it out, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Because you had the village in the back. We got the party all day. We got the networking, the people that we met was incredible.
Yeah. So many good stories too. That's the thing about a big event like this, right? If we're talking to somebody, we mention the endocannabinoid system or cannabis is a healing property, we start to begin to hear stories, like background stories, people's, how they found the plant, things like that. And I got so much of that this 420, and it was a party. But it was a celebration more than it was a party, if that makes sense. We weren't there to party. We were there to celebrate. And I didn't know that I walked into a celebration until I saw all those smiles and all that great positivity flying around.
Right.
Tim, you didn't even have to sell a product there. It just sold, everything sold itself.
Yeah, it was just beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, and obviously being next to the Dab Stars does not hurt.
Yeah. So, okay. Let's get Tim's perspective. Now, I've asked everybody else. Now, what did you think of the party when you got there, Tim, and during your stay there? What did you think of that party?
Well, what I really liked about, again, were the people that I met that were the business side to what's going on in the industry. There were a lot of people there that were vending, that the owners of these companies were there. I mean, the lawyers of these companies were there, the accountants of these companies, and they're experiencing this going, this is really real. Yeah. I mean, this old crazy guy wasn't dumb. That's really what I thought was the coolest part about it.
You're talking about what happens when industry meets culture.
100%.
And that's what happened there, right? Like
Right.
they brought in the industry, they brought in the culture, they brought it all into one space. So I
Yeah.
think that's may be a little bit of what you're feeling there.
We'll go back to proper cannabis.
Sure.
I mean, the way that they present the people, they've had the same people on deck, right? I can't remember the dude's name right now. I wish I could, because I rode the bus with him a couple different
Gotcha.
times.
Yeah.
But I mean, just the whole team of people, the same people that were down in Lake of the Ozarks this summer.
Yeah.
You know, they're
Kyle?
just,
Kyle?
yeah, I know Brian. Well, anyways, it doesn't matter. It was still, the proper cannabis group was fun. American Shaman, I thought, had an amazing presentation for a booth.
I love stories like that too. American Shaman's been a big CBD driving force, not just as a great shop and great products, but also helping to shape the laws and helping to be a part of what's happening here with changing conversations with all of our cannabinoids and all that. So it's cool to see American Shaman get a license in the Missouri market on the cannabis side, because they deserve it.
Yeah, no, 100%. You know, I mean, they had that selfie tent part of it, that selfie picture deal as a part of it. And I mean, they were busy all night long. People were taking selfies. It was beautiful.
Back to that other, what's that one word you used earlier? Dab star. What'd you think about that tent?
Hey, that Jonah dude, I mean, he's got great energy. Nick,
Yeah.
I mean, it's good to see Nick again. I hadn't seen him in a minute. You know, just their whole team.
Yeah.
Again, and when we talked about it earlier, nobody was mad at the whole thing. Yeah, there was one at night when the Dab Stars closed the booth down.
Yep.
There was that young kid going, wait
a second. But you know, I want to say something. I've never been at a Dab Star giveaway other than one that we had and experienced it the way I did this time. And what I realized was when Jonah is throwing products out there to folks and helping people enjoy the culture and all that, he also gives a little bit of an education while he's doing that, doesn't he?
Well, yeah, he's telling the people, support these people.
Yeah, because
That's what we're doing. We're here to support people. Go ahead, Justin.
I was just laughing about how when he was throwing out the Captain Crossfade, he kind of was like, "Oh, this helps with something else," and it was like, "No, it's not a Viagra kind of thing."
No, he said sleep first, and then I said, "No, that's gonna get you up," and he goes, "Oh yeah, it'll get you up," and I was like, "Wait a second,
Yeah.
That's gonna give you a little energy. Let's redefine what we're talking about here."
Let's dial that in.
Oh, Captain, my Captain, he didn't calm down there, Captain Crossfade. But yeah, I thought it was really cool because when I handed Jonah some Waxy Brown Wax Off rig cleaner to give away at the event, I told him, I said, I really appreciate you supporting a veteran-owned company. And he said, make sure I remember that when I go to give that away. I want to make sure people know this is a veteran-owned company. He cared about those things, and there's got to be, you know, that's great that he cared about the veteran thing, but he also cared about this type of medicine over here and this person over here. And then he wanted to make sure that the thanks from these products went to those companies, as well as those companies thanking the patients. So it was a pretty rad time, and not to mention free dabs. You know, so it's a wild event.
Hey, I want to give a shout out to Stephanie. I hadn't seen her in a long time.
Yeah.
And I know she travels all over with those Dab Stars. So kudos to Stephanie and the whole staff there and what they presented.
Wild event. So I'm glad you guys had fun. I think Missouri really found itself on the map cannabis wise. I don't think there's a state out there right now that either one isn't it looking at how we have our laws set up and ready to emulate, I believe on the federal level as well. And then two, they saw our culture. And that's something that we're currently kind of defining here in Missouri. We've talked about we have culture in different parts of the state that look a different way, but what's it look like when you're a different state looking at us? And it's got to look pretty cool. When you look at what just went down right there at Smokey River Entertainment District, it's got to look pretty dope. I'm over in California going, I thought we had it going on, you know?
I met a ton of people there that were from outside the state of Missouri, Iowa, Illinois, South Dakota, Nebraska, a bunch of people from Kansas.
Yeah.
I mean, poor Kansas people.
Yeah.
Doggone it.
Yeah, I think there's like 3 states now that don't have a medical or recreational program at this point. We big shout out to Delaware, legalized yesterday, recreational.
Wow.
That's pretty good stuff too, because their governor announced it out of nowhere, and he said, "I got 2 pieces of legislation here. I'm signing it," and then they legalized it like right away. So it's done. It's all right. They're open. They're ready to rock and roll.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, wild stuff. Go ahead, Justin.
I said, wasn't Delaware the state that had like 40,000 hemp licenses because they didn't have to destroy hot hemp? So people were growing hemp, air quotes,
Yeah.
and then just keeping it for personal use because they couldn't put it in the market.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm glad they fixed that.
I destroyed it. I'm going to destroy some more right now.
Yeah, one bowl at a time.
Yep, a series of small fires. All right, folks, we're going to take a break. When I get back, I'm going to talk a little bit about Singapore and what happened over there today. It's not a good thing, I'll tell you that. But I will leave you guys on a good note after that because I hate the negativity and then leaving you that way. So we'll talk about Singapore when we get back. And you guys are listening to Waxy Brown's Flower Power Hour live from the Robust Cannabis Studios at KKIT 92.9.
I'm so freaking tired this morning. Isn't saying something is indescribable just describing it? If a pregnant woman goes swimming, is she a submarine? What if two bots match on Tinder? Do they ever give up? Do fish get seasick in storms? Why is abbreviated such a long word? If a kid refuses to sleep during nap time, are they guilty of resisting arrest? Pizza is a circle, cut into triangles, and delivered in a square. Wax Off is the greatest dab cleaner ever. Kinda slippery. Huh? Not again! Thanks for waking me up, Lil Waxy.
Here we have a prime example of a macaque. His name is Marcus. This particular macaque is bored. He's tired of the same old concert experience. Us too, little buddy. Well, you're in luck, Marcus. Introducing Captain Crossfade, a blend of THCV and CBC. This drink is the life of the party. Energy and focus, as well as an, enhanced experience with other consumables. Marcus is now ready to party all night long. Look at him go. Brought to you by Waxy Brown.
Chess is the perfect metaphor for business. You have to consider every angle before you move. You and your opponent have the same rules to follow. Not now, Michelle. I'm recording this ad right now. No, I didn't pick up that cheese you like. Well, I didn't see it when I was at the store. What is that in your hand? Oh, this is that fire concentrate we got the other day? Hell yes, I'll do a dab with you. Why didn't you just say that? Oh, this is still recording. Check out the creative minds at Route 66 Labs. Obama. Out!
People always ask me, how do you do it? What's your secret? How long did it take? What kind of dedication do you have? How do you do it every day? Well, the truth is, I'm high as shit most of the time, and I wax off a lot. I mean a lot.
BesaMe Wellness, we're all about supporting the health and well-being of our community. With a wide selection of locally curated medical marijuana products, we'll help find what works best for you. Don't have a card? Let us help navigate the application process. And if you can't make it to one of our 5 convenient locations, we'll even deliver to your door. Visit us in-store or online at besamewellness.com.
Here we have a prime example of a macaque. His name is Marcus. This particular macaque is bored. He's tired of the same old concert experience. Us too, little buddy. Well, you're in luck, Marcus. Introducing Captain Crossfade. A blend of THCV and CBC, this drink is the life of the party. Energy and focus, as well as an, enhanced experience with other consumables. Marcus is now ready to party all night long. Look at him go. Brought to you by Waxy Brown.
I'm so freaking tired this morning. Isn't saying something is indescribable just describing it? If a pregnant woman goes swimming, is she a submarine? What if 2 bots match on Tinder? Do they ever give up? Do fish get seasick in storms? Why is abbreviated such a long word? If a kid refuses to sleep during nap time, are they guilty of resisting arrest? Pizza is a circle, cut into triangles, and delivered in a square. Wax Off is the greatest dab cleaner ever. Kinda slippery. Huh? Not again! Thanks for waking me up, Lil Waxy.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Waxy Brown's Flower Power Hour, brought to you live from the Robust Cannabis Studios at K-Kid 92.9. With all of our digital side over there, brought to you by Route 66 Labs out of New Mexico. Check them out for all your alternative marketing needs. All right. What's cracking, Captain? We can hear Justin all right? See, I knew it. Was he just quiet on purpose just to mess with me?
See,
I feel like that's what happened. All right, so we've had a good show so far. We talked. Hey, yeah, on the FM side, we just played some Old Crow Medicine Show. CC Ryder, I love those guys.
I love that harmonica play.
Yes, yeah, dude, yeah. Steve let me pick out all the music this week, so and last week, but no, not last week, but the week before. But yeah, so there'll be some good tunage on the FM side if you guys are clocking the dial over there. All right, so I told you I had to talk about some bummer stuff, right? So 420 was a lot of fun, and legalization in Missouri is a blast. We're having a great time. We only have 3 states that are not legal in some way, shape, or form with some kind of medicine or another. And we're going real far, but some countries are not. Look at Thailand, okay? I've been to Thailand 7 times, okay? And I can tell you, like, that weed was not legal when I was there, and I did. I'm scared the Thai police are going to hear me. Like, I scored weed in Thailand, and it did not feel safe. It was one of the most dangerous situations in a little alley. It was actually dark. I was scared. I got fake weed the first time. Like, it was pretty rough. But it's difficult to in other countries to figure out, first off, what those laws are and to navigate around them. In Singapore, I've also been to Singapore, by the way. Singapore, I was there in 1994. They caned a kid for graffiti. I don't know if you remember that. They caned him for spray painting something.
Wow.
They'll cane you for dropping bubble gum on the sidewalk, intentionally littering. So it's a strict country, but I wish that it wasn't strict with cannabis, because here's what happened this morning. Singapore hangs a man over 1 kilo of cannabis, 1 kilo of weed. That's 2.2 something pounds, a little over 2 pounds, dead. Singapore officials executed a man today by hanging. Steve, turn that one down a little for me there. By hanging my mic must be, my earphones are louder than I could turn me down. By hanging, who was found guilty of drug trafficking a kilo of cannabis into the country. NDTV in India reported that, and I hope I don't slaughter his name because he deserves the best of the best. It's Tangaraju Sapia, 46 years old. I'm almost 46 myself.
Right.
Transported more than 2 kilos in my lifetime. Hate to be in this situation. He was executed at dawn on Wednesday, rejecting a growing chorus of anti-death penalty campaigners to end the country's cruel use of capital punishment. British billionaire Sir Richard Branson got involved with this one. You guys know him, right, from Virgin? He's a long time opponent of the death penalty, and a group of world leaders, including Mr. Branson, called for action on what they describe as a disturbing case of what may have been an innocent man. I truly believe that if it's just weed, we're innocent anyway, right?
Right.
So Branson wrote a detailed blog post pleading for mercy, while the EU, the European Union, and Australian MP Graham Perrett issued statements of defense of the man, which is also interesting because Australia has yet to find its path to legalization as well, and even they're stepping in and saying, shouldn't have hung this guy. So it's kind of wild that even some prohibition nations are stepping in here. The EU statement jointly issued, no pun intended, on April 24th, with the diplomatic missions of EU member states Norway and Switzerland, called on authorities to halt his execution and commute his sentence to a non-capital sentence, which honestly probably would have still been life, which is still terrible for cannabis. 2 seconds is terrible in jail for cannabis, right? But losing your life is wrong. So he was sentenced to death on October 9th, 2018. So he's been sitting there for a minute for attempting to traffic more than 1 kilo of cannabis to Singapore. He was originally detained in 2014 also. He had a history for drug consumption, so using cannabis. Actually, I don't know that that's cannabis. That could have been any drug as far as I know here. And failure to report for a drug test. Apparently, he was on some kind of probation or something like that. I'm not sure. But he was held in Singapore's Shanghai prison complex, which is actually known to be one of the worst prisons in the world. Very strict, very, very strict place. Branson, and Sir Branson, I'm going to call him because he deserves that apparently, argued that the system is broken beyond repair. I agree with him. He contends that in the U.S. alone, nearly 190 people have been exonerated or freed from death row since 1976. Branson's also tried to free drug trafficker Darla Mengandang, I don't know that name, who was executed by hanging in 2022, so same kind of event last year. Branson was invited to take part in a live televised debate with the city-state's Home Affairs Minister, but declined to do so. And here it mentions in 94, an American 19-year-old was caned in Singapore for graffiti, left in a bloody mess. Drug laws are similar. Drug traffickers are less likely to traffic drugs and reduce the amount of drugs trafficked if they're aware of the penalties involved, according to Singapore. That man's dead today,
Right.
for 2.5 pounds of cannabis. Steve, you probably smoked that in the last 6 months. This guy moved that once, and now he's lost his life. It's kind of to me, it goes to show that we can celebrate all day long, but there's always going to be so much more work to do.
Yeah.
When I first flew into the country of Sri Lanka,
Right.
that was the first thing I saw was a sign. I mean, literally, when you come down the escalator deal, it says marijuana, death. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just it. And there's armed guards everywhere.
You said in Kansas?
Sri Lanka.
Oh, Sri Lanka. Okay. That was a joke.
Yeah, same thing.
Not really a time to joke, but that was a joke. A little brevity here, but yeah, I think
Wow.
it definitely shows we have so much more work to do.
So what do you think they have against it so much that they're going to put somebody down for it? I mean, what is it that they don't understand? I mean, I guess
Singapore as a country believes itself to be really pristine there. Like, it's just a glistening, beautiful place. So I don't know if Singapore as a whole is like against cannabis. I just think that they are for
I think the big
over
thing,
policing their laws.
okay, if you need to take a drink there, jump
I
on
will.
there.
I got some oxygenated water.
So in Singapore, though, I mean, it's a hub. So there's a lot of people that travel throughout that part of the world, and they all funnel through Singapore.
That's right.
So they don't want to be the drug hub, although they are. They
Well-
don't want to be, in marijuana.
Well, and they're also surrounded by a lot of the countries where a lot of drugs come from, i.e., Thailand, and actually a lot of Asia
Right.
produces a lot of drugs, and not always cannabis. So I totally get that part of it, but protecting your reputation and or commerce through capital punishment, I think, is the problem. What do you think, Justin?
Yeah, I just kind of wonder. Whoa, I got like a reverb. With the other stuff that comes out of Asia, the heroin, the fentanyl, all that other stuff, you kind of wonder if they just said, you know what, if it's not legal, then it's death. It's just kind of a lazy way to do laws, but you know, different societies, different cultures.
Well, I wanted to, just to be real, I wanted to give that man just a moment on the show because I think it's absolutely ridiculous that happened, for one. Two, it's going to keep happening, so it's terrible. But that's that guy's legacy now. He was hung by the neck, and it snapped, and he died because of cannabis. And cannabis should be doing the exact opposite for folks. It should be helping them live, not find their way to an early ending.
Is that all the negative now?
Yeah, man. Good morning, everybody. All right. So
Get the sage out.
Yeah, got you. What bummed me out, man? I didn't mean to bum everybody out, but it did bum me out. But here in America, I want to go over a little bit of polling that just happened here. It turns out that we do love weed, and our country is starting to adapt that policy as well. And I marked all of my cheat sheets over here, and I marked all of Tim's too. So Tim, you'll be looking for the one that says people love weed. Okay. All right. So
hey, what are you being so organized for today?
I know 3 new polls.
You got notes? How come I didn't get notes?
Because you wouldn't know what to do with them. So
hold on, I found it. People love weed.
Okay, all right. People heart weed. Yeah. 3 new polls released on the week of 420 show. Are you guys surprised by this? That a strong majority of Americans continue to support marijuana legalization. The surveys were released by CBS News, YouGov, and Civic Science. They touched on a number of cannabis-related issues, but one thought line was that respondents favor legalization at the state and federal level. They outline that. So the CBS News poll shows that 64% of Americans want marijuana to be legal in their state, and that includes majorities of Democrats, 73%, independents, 66%, and Republicans, 53%. So we have all the parties in agreement here that we should start legalizing this plant. Yep. And then I was super high earlier when I was doing this, and I put a fake quote in here from it seems one man, Gary Efantia from Green Gate, Ohio, believes cannabis should still be illegal, quote, and I made this quote up. I believe that marijuana is the gateway drug to crime, other drugs, and possibly a joy of reruns of My Name is Earl. We have to stop this evil plant immediately. That's what he said. No more My Name is Earl.
Are you saying you didn't like Earl?
I'm just saying I know that you love My Name is Earl.
Oh, you were striking a chord with Steve there.
Yeah. But I do want to say, like, it's wild, right? Like, Steve, how many times are you and I having conversations about what's happening in Missouri, and you just start busting out in a grin? I still can't believe this is happening like this.
Most of the day when we're working together, it's just like this is crazy. You know, I mean, we've waited a long time for it, and just seeing how it's been embraced, and now all we got to do is catch up with Michigan, right?
Yeah, I got that right here. So you guys know we sold here in Missouri. You're gonna look for Michigan and $, Tim. All right,
I got it.
Okay. All right, so you guys know we sold quite a bit of weed in Missouri in the months of April. We don't know April
February.
yet. February we did 103. March we did 126.
Right.
In Michigan, they sold $250 million in cannabis in just the month of March. Like, it's nuts. So
hey, when you got brother Joe Brown up there praying for you,
it might be it. They reached a record high in combined recreational and medical purchases, $250 million. The lion's share of those sales came from the adult use market, which saw $239 million worth of marijuana products. Their medical market only sold $9.8 million compared to $238 million. That's big. That's a big
I wonder
difference.
what the tax difference is. Maybe they got a little less taxes up there for recreational.
My thing is, if you're buying that much on the legal market, how much are you buying on? Y'all are smoking billions of dollars of cannabis in Michigan, but you're right. So most of the cannabis purchases came from flower, it says, followed by vape cartridges, then infused edibles. I don't know where your your concentrates would fall in there. But the state is seeing these sales even as the average. This is wild right here. This tripped me up. The state is seeing, and listen to this, the state is seeing record-setting sales even as the average cost of marijuana has remained at record lows, with the price of an ounce now hovering around $90 on their market. In December 2021, by contrast, the cost of an ounce was $180. It's fallen by half in pricing, but they still sold double what we did, $250 million. Like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of pot. Like, y'all have got it going on down there.
And we're not even to the summer yet.
Yeah. It says with the cannabis market continuing to mature, businesses still face challenges under federal prohibition, including a lack of access to federal financial services. It's all these things we're saying legalized. But we did the math on it. We broke it down to how many ounces of pot got sold in there, and it comes out to 2.7, almost 2.8 million ounces of cannabis were sold in that market.
Right. Isn't that what you smoke a year?
That's not no, because I've never had that.
You're 2.8. That's right.
I would try.
Hey, next year he will.
You put a mountain of weed in front of me, I'm not going under it. I'm going right through it. Like
next year he will. He'll have
$250,000
on weed.
Scarface with bud.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So in Michigan, right, there's a lot of weed being sold, but there's also a little bit of problems happening. It says that meanwhile, the former Michigan House Speaker Rick Johnson, who went on to chair the state's marijuana licensing board, caught headlines this month after a federal prosecutor charged him for allegedly taking bribes. I can't even say allegedly correctly. It's taking bribes in exchange for providing privileged information and assistance to select licensed applicants. He and other defendants have reached plea agreements in the case already.
Yeah, didn't he admit that he did?
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
Oops.
I did that.
And matter of fact, I did all that.
Yeah, and I have a cultivation now somehow. Like,
Right.
I don't know. But so it tells me that Michigan's got a whole lot going on, right? And so Steve and I were in there talking, and I came across another article about Michigan, and this one's pretty funny. You're going to look for burgers to blunts over there, Tim, for your headlines.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Hey, this organization thing is not really up dude.
And I wonder too how much of that recreational use is coming from either Wisconsin, where they don't have a medical program, or Indiana, where they don't have either. Because if you look at a map, you can just get in a boat and cross over to Michigan, and not like you're going to get pulled over on Lake Michigan or anything like that. So,
and it sounds like they got good prices.
in case anyone needed a DIY program on how to get that solved over there.
We're into it. You got that. Justin will teach you how to get your meds in Michigan.
Allegedly, right?
So here it is. Stizzy, that's a prominent cannabis brand best known for its vaporizers, has offered to hire laid-off Burger King workers after a franchise owner closed 26 Burger Kings, mostly in the Detroit area. More than 400 total workers were laid off as a result of the Burger King closures.
Wow.
Stizzy's, based in California, has 3 retail locations and a production facility in Michigan. The cannabis company announced the move on Twitter on Monday. We have recently offered 400 plus jobs to Burger King employees that were laid off due to closures in and around Detroit. Their Twitter account, it also shared a link and a screenshot to a Crime News Detroit Instagram post, which provides further details. Pretty wild though. It said here's the managing partner. He said, last night I actually read the Detroit News article where it spoke about 400 plus people losing their jobs from Burger King. He told the host of the show. And at the same time, where there's a depressing message, we wanted to bring a message of hope. The workers were offered jobs at the Stizzy production facility in Orion Township, where the company produces a variety of cannabis products, including its odd vape line and fused blunts and pre-rolls. Put me in. Junt mentioned that positions within the manufacturing department have a very similar skill set to fast food work, right? He said, so they're going to be rolling blunts and joints and filling vape cartridges, he said. So they'd be going from burgers to blunts and joints.
That's good marketing.
That is good marketing, man. I think it's also good for the community. But it says they're looking to fill a little over 200 positions nearly immediately. And over the next 3 to 4 months, they're going to add another 200 plus jobs. He said it's a great environment, full-time hours, you get benefits after 90 days. People seem to enjoy it. New jobs start at $16 an hour for the day shift, $16.50, an extra 50 cents for the night shift, plus benefits. more than Burger King's average pay for non-managerial positions. Campbell mentioned that the rate is a nice start, but still challenging for employees to make a living on. So he said, we're growing crazy. Here in Michigan, we've actually only been able to launch about half our product line. So we need many, many, many more jobs. Like, how much weed are you about to make? Like, you guys got this. Wow.
They're just preparing to go national, brother.
I'm going to talk about that later too. I got something I want to talk about with interstate. Some of these states are setting themselves up for that in their verbiage,
100
in their laws that they're setting out. So pretty wild. It's just another thing. It's another time where cannabis has said, you know what? You did it wrong. We'll do it right. We got your back. Don't worry about it. You guys littered the streets. We'll pick it up. You guys aren't giving to the not-for-profits. We'll give to the not-for-profits. You guys are Burger King's letting off a bunch of people. Come over here and grow weed. We'll fix this situation. Somebody should have done that to Twitter when Twitter started laying people off. Curaleaf, come behind them, start hiring them. I don't know. It's pretty wild.
But think about the transition with the culture that they're missing. You know, that's the weirdest thing about in the business side to this is they forget about the culture, the people that started this industry, that started this fight 50 years ago.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. All right, we're at that moment where we have to take a break and pay some bills. We're going to play a little tune on FM. What I pick out on this one, Steve? I'm pretty stoked that I got to pick the songs today.
America.
Oh, we're playing Sandman by America on the FM side. One of my favorites. All right, you guys are listening to Waxy Brown's Flower Power Hour, brought to you live from the Robust Cannabis Studios at K-Kid 92.9.
I'm so freaking tired this morning. Isn't saying something is indescribable just describing it? If a pregnant woman goes swimming, is she a submarine? What if two bots match on Tinder? Do they ever give up? Do fish get seasick in storms? Why is abbreviated such a long word? If a kid refuses to sleep during nap time, are they guilty of resisting arrest? Pizza is a circle, cut into triangles, and delivered in a square. Wax Off is the greatest dab cleaner ever. Kinda slippery. Huh? Not again! Thanks for waking me up, Lil Waxy.
Here we have a prime example of a macaque. His name is Marcus. This particular macaque is bored. He's tired of the same old concert experience. Us too, little buddy. Well, you're in luck, Marcus. Introducing Captain Crossfade, a blend of THCV and CBC. This drink is the life of the party. Energy and focus, as well as an, enhanced experience with other consumables. Marcus is now ready to party all night long. Look at him go. Brought to you by Waxy Brown.
Chess is the perfect metaphor for business. You have to consider every angle before you move. You and your opponent have the same rules to follow. Not now, Michelle. I'm recording this ad right now. No, I didn't pick up that cheese you like. Well, I didn't see it when I was at the store. What is that in your hand? Oh, this is that fire concentrate we got the other day? Hell yes, I'll do a dab with you. Why didn't you just say that? Oh, this is still recording. Check out the creative minds at Route 66 Labs. Obama. Out!
People always ask me, how do you do it? What's your secret? How long did it take? What kind of dedication do you have? How do you do it every day? Well, the truth is, I'm high as shit most of the time, and I wax off a lot. I mean a lot.
At BesaMe Wellness, we're all about supporting the health and well-being of our community. With a wide selection of locally curated medical marijuana products, we'll help find what works best for you. Don't have a card? Let us help navigate the application process. And if you can't make it to one of our 5 convenient locations, we'll even deliver to your door. Visit us in-store or online at besamewellness.com.
Here we have a prime example of a macaque. His name is Marcus. This particular macaque is bored. He's tired of the same old concert experience. Us too, little buddy. Well, you're in luck, Marcus. Introducing Captain Crossfade, a blend of THCV and CBC. This drink is the life of the party. Energy and focus, as well as an, enhanced experience with other consumables. Marcus is now ready to party all night long. Look at him go. Brought to you by Waxy Brown.
I'm so freaking tired this morning. Isn't saying something is indescribable just describing it? If a pregnant woman goes swimming, is she a submarine? What if 2 bots match on Tinder? Do they ever give up? Do fish get seasick in storms? Why is abbreviated such a long word? If a kid refuses to sleep during nap time, are they guilty of resisting arrest? Pizza is a circle, cut into triangles, and delivered in a square. Wax Off is the greatest dab cleaner ever. Kinda slippery. Huh? Not again! Thanks for waking me up, Lil Waxy.
Premium brand. We're the best. High quality. Unique. Premium brand. Different. Unique. Premium high quality. We're different. We're different. Premium brand.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Waxy Brown's Flower Power Hour, brought to you live from the Robust Cannabis Studios and streamed by our friends down there at Route 66 Labs in New Mexico for all of your alternative marketing needs. Justin, what's up, man?
Nothing. I'm cracking up at the new Wax Off ad we've got broadcasting on the break with the guy in the shower.
The funny part is, like, over here, Steve can't hear the audio, so he's looking over, and if you just watch that without the audio, Steve's like, what are you guys doing over there? What is that? What's
up with the shower?
What's up with the shower? I don't know what's happening. I'm like, listen, it's funny if you hear it, but if you are just looking at it, it's inappropriate. But that's what
not inappropriate. Just wondering what's doing.
It's mildly inappropriate for sure. And that's good. That's what Wax Off is all about.
Actually, we should have seen this commercial that ran on national TV with this guy in the shower. It was for the certain type of head, but it shows him doing this.
What type? Never mind.
The one that has this massage and everything.
Okay,
forget it.
All right.
Back to the show.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Waxy Flower Power, where we're having a lot of fun.
Can I say something real quick?
Please.
Hey, Justin, I want to give you a shout out for that little deal you got set up out at Knuckleheads there on Wednesday night.
Oh, yeah. Reverend Peyton's Big Damn Band.
That was amazing.
Justin, Steve, you didn't get to go to that one. Justin took us to a concert. It was me, Dusty, you, Tim. Who else went? Nathan went with us. A couple people. And we went and saw Reverend Peyton's Big Damn Band. And I'll tell you something, that band is fun to watch. Like, the music is like some real stompity, steampunk, banjo, and like, it's just wild, man.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun. I don't know what kind of style of music or what that genre would be, but
they're technically bluegrass or blues, I think, is what they've got on the Billboard charts for.
I don't even know about that part, like bluesgrass. I don't even know, but they're not a big damn band. There's only 3 of them in the band, and there's a drummer that's pretty good at drumming, no lie. And he plays
the bones.
He plays the bones too, which is like this other instrument that's pretty fun. And then you got your guitar player guy. He's pretty wild. He's got like cigar boxes and like all kinds of different guitars he brings out. One of them's an axe.
And he plays them like Jimi Hendrix. That's the part that blows me away.
Yeah, he has an actual axe that you would chop wood with, a big lumberjack one. It's all stringed up, and he's getting down with this thing like Hendrix style, just going wild. And then the drummer, or not the drummer, but the lady playing the washboard, right?
Yeah.
She was great. She looked like she was just dolled up beyond belief. She had short jet black hair. She had on the little frilly dress. But if you look close, the dress was covered in mushrooms. Like, it was pretty great band. Like, I couldn't stop dancing. You couldn't stop stomping your feet.
That was the funniest part. Was we're sitting in the back and we look up and we just see this little bandana bouncing around in the front, up in the corner, and you stuck out like a sore thumb in that crowd, man. It was hilarious.
If there's music and it's a band, I'm gonna get in the front row and support them and dance my little butt off, because I'm a deadhead. I don't care how I look when I dance. It's as long as I'm bouncing and I'm good, I'm happy. They seem like they're pretty happy with it. I don't know if there was anybody in there that wasn't just having just a good. It was a rambunctious show. I loved it. I would anytime they come back or come anywhere near Missouri, I'm gonna go see them. I don't care what part of the state they're in.
They got everybody out of their seats. I mean,
that's because they demanded it.
Yeah.
Every other song, like, you get up.
You think we can get him to play Smokey River as an opener?
Oh yeah. I'm sure they'd love it. I mean, I can't imagine it might. Yeah. I can imagine Smokey River is built for just about any really cool band, but.
And just for the record, they did say that they would play Cannabis Camp last year.
Yeah, I knew there was a reason you drug us to a rock show.
Oh yeah.
Hey, you sold me on them, brother. I'm telling you, it was a great show. I mean, I was just glued watching them perform.
Yeah. It was wild. And of course, she made me feel better when I saw mushrooms. I was like, okay, these are our people for sure.
And lighting the washboard on fire at the end, was that?
Yeah, she
enough?
did. Like, I have it on video, Steve. I'll show it to you after the show. She takes this washboard. She starts going crazy with it. Next thing you know, she pours gasoline or something on it, and then she lights it on fire. She's still playing it. Very Hendrix-esque. Like, she's doing it very, like, you think it definitely brings you back to Woodstock with him, and then she blows it out and goes on her way. But it was a wild time. Like, and that's, like, it went from a really cool little concert to next thing you know, at the end of it, he's playing a giant axe that you would cut trees down with, rocking it out and he's got a crazy beard. This guy, cool-looking dude. And then she's lighting stuff on fire, and it was just a great time. Like, just a great show, period.
The dude looks like somebody that would work on a railroad.
Yeah, in
Really?
like
Just-
1930. Yeah, like he's a miner or something. Yeah, like I
Had the overalls on. Had the boots on.
I would have handed him the keys to my car and asked him to work on it. Like, I don't, he could have,
Right.
like, he was that kind of, like, at that time, like, it was very, very cool like that. But,
Well, and they've been around for a couple of years, so they may or may not qualify for classic rock that could be played on K-Kid 92.9 Salem Rollin'.
Wow.
oh, he did it. He got us at the top of the hour thing. He snuck in on us again.
Don't mind me, just making sure we're
All right.
compliant.
All right, so I want to talk to you guys a little bit about compliancy. Okay, let's talk about that. Great way to segue for me. You guys know I'm a big fan of Delta 8 products, right? Like Delta 8 products helped me get kind of away from liquor over the last few months and stuff. I've really leaned towards a lot of those drinks and stuff like that. I've also found that Delta 8 helps me with sleep. I've told you guys that time and time again. I have a hard time with sleep. Delta 8 really helps me crash quickly and effectively. And also, if I want to use it during the day, it's a lot of fun. If I want to feel a little funny, but I'm a big fan of that. So we got some stuff happening in Missouri with Delta 8 that I want everybody to be kind of aware of. And it could be big or it could go away. And I'm not sure which way it's going to go. So I want to talk about it. A bill proposed in Missouri aims to put the regulation of Delta 8 THC products under the purview of the State Department of Health and Senior Services, DHSS, and permit the sale of such products only at DHSS licensed cannabis dispensaries. Fox 2 News reports State Representative Curtis Gregory, a Republican, said the reason he introduced the bill is because there are no age limits on who can purchase the products. That's not true.
No, it's 18 and
It's
over,
18 and up. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Farm Bill compliant. If we're talking about Farm Bill compliant, papered up Delta 8 products and not some street thing like we're talking, like he seems to do, then we're not. We do have age limits out there, Mr. Republican Representative Curtis Gregory. During a hearing on the bill last week, both Democrats and Republicans pushed back on putting the products under the DHSS umbrella, arguing that the move would allow a, quote, marijuana monopoly to take over due to the limited number of cannabis licenses in the state. Which that's kind of
Comparably speaking, on how many CBD shops are out there.
thousands. Yeah,
Yeah.
you have thousands, right? And then the
Right.
open market, we have, what is it, 100? Now we're at 200 and something, 215,
12.
212 dispensaries, something like that there. Give or take a few. You probably will. The measure also contains provisions prohibiting businesses from manufacturing or selling any product that contains synthetic cannabinoids or cannabiometric agents, which some lawmakers contend would hurt the state's hemp industry, which it would absolutely hurt the hemp industry. Right now, the hemp industry is preparing, or at least this is my understanding of it, the hemp industry is preparing for industrial usage. They're preparing themselves. They're putting out products so that they can keep farming, keep these products going and everything else, because we're not at a standard yet in the United States where they can sell massive amounts of hemp fiber and grain and all these things yet. We're just not there yet. So they are putting out their products, their hemp products. They're all Farm Bill compliant, whether that's a gummy or a drink for your health or to get you high. That is on that market, as it should be, I believe, because it's hemp, right?
Okay, but we got to go back to the recreational market.
Okay.
There's a line in the sand. They sell THC.
Yep.
The hemp industry does not sell THC.
Yes, they do. Well, they
not according
hemp derived.
hemp derived,
Sure,
correct.
sure, yeah.
But according to the way the rules are written,
right,
they can't sell marijuana, which is the recreational industry.
Right.
But they can sell hemp.
Yep.
That has, I mean, there's several hundred compounds outside of THC.
Sure.
So
that we know of so far.
Right. And we have no idea. Just like go back to our product that we just launched last week.
El Capitan Crossfade.
Right.
Yeah.
Crossfade. I mean, there's two cannabinoids right there that work very well for what we're looking to do, and that's get energy.
CBC, that's your energy, and CBC, your force multiplier.
Correct.
Right.
Those are two cannabinoids.
I can see you're passionate about this.
Well,
you're hitting the counter.
He may have had a couple of Captain Crossfades
I'm
too. So
saying,
he's super focused.
I had half of one, so I'm almost
Half a
there.
pot of coffee.
Yeah. All right, so let's keep going here. State Representative Peter Meredith, we've had him on the show before, a Democrat, described the bill as sort of using a hammer instead of a scalpel to address a problem. I agree with him. Or I would have to disagree with there being necessarily a problem to begin with. There's regulations still to be had, but that doesn't, to me, isn't a problem. Missouri does not have a state hemp program or state hemp regulators, relying instead on the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the USDA, to administer hemp licensing and oversee farms. The USDA only regulates the concentration of Delta-9 THC in raw hemp. Sean Hackman, president of Missouri Hemp Trade Association, friends of ours on the show, indicated that there are about 20 companies in Missouri that are processing hemp for Delta-8 products right now. He said, quote, they call it unregulated. Technically it is, he said. It's self-regulated, except for the fly-by-night idiots who don't care. We spent a lot of money on testing these products to make sure there's no metals, contaminants, or anything in these products. The measure remains on the House calendar, but without a date for consideration of a vote. Let's discuss. Okay. So first off, a bill like that, whether I agree with how our DHSS and our cannabis companies and our cannabis industry is operating currently, a bill like that would destroy my friends. It would destroy my friends who have head shops, who have side projects, who are making products at home and getting them tested, getting them built for a market so that people can understand, what they're doing. And even some that aren't. I think that a bill like this is dangerous. I think that even DHSS, nor Peter Meredith or myself or anybody cited in this article know enough about these cannabinoids to decide what lane they should be in. First off, okay, THCV, nobody's going to run to a dispensary to get high on THCV. It doesn't do that.
Right. It's not psychoactive.
Yeah, that's not what people are going to dispensaries for. They're not going there. Just to be real about it, I'm going to be very honest, and some people might not like the way I put this. They're not going there for their health care exclusively. They're just not yet. I want them to. I want to be able to walk into a dispensary and find everything I need from tooth to toe, but we don't have that yet.
Well, there's a section in every one of these head shops, every CBD store that will be selling all natural health products in the future. They have to.
Yep.
It's just the culture. We're all trying to get a little healthier. We're all trying to get rid of alcohol. We're all, as you progress into this industry more and more, these cannabinoids work and really do replace a lot of those things.
Well, and here's my thing. I'm just going to be real about it, and no one's going to like what I'm going to say right now. I have talked to a ton of industry folks about THCV, CBC, other cannabinoids that we ourselves have realized. And you know what they know about them? Nothing. They know as much as I do. Nothing. So tell me how we're going to take a cannabinoid and say that it should be in this lane over here. But these people in this lane over here that you want to give it to have absolutely no knowledge nor care to do anything but get it off the market so that it's not competition to them. My THCV isn't a competition to any gummy on the planet unless you're another THCV gummy. Mm-hmm. CBC shouldn't be in competition with any other cannabinoid. That's not how things work. Aspirin is not in competition with a Band-Aid. That's not how things work. These cannabinoids, there's hundreds of them, and we have so many lanes to go down. THCV, they're finding so many different things that they're finding out about it. And I'm not a doctor, nor do I want to make any claims whatsoever. But there's lots of folks out there who are claiming that it's great for weight loss, or it's going to be able to help with type 2 diabetes by keeping you from getting hungry all the time and craving food and things like that. I know my little fat butt could use some of that. But
that's a good point.
Well, listen, but what I do know is that THCV or any of these cannabinoids, name any one of them, as we start to research and we start to get into the hands of scientists that are going to take them in these directions, we're going to learn a lot more about them. They're going to be able to do things that we don't know. Maybe one's going to be able to regrow Justin's hair. There's no dispensary out there that's really wanting to get in the hair game. I know this.
It's coming.
But I shave my head. So that's a choice.
Where do you start shaving it? Halfway back.
From here all the way back.
I'm just kidding. My point is this, though. Cannabinoids are there for us, right? Before 1937, they were everything to us. They were in every medicine, in every cabinet in America. And they took that away and began to replace it with all these synthetics and all these shots and these different things. And let's go back to it. I've told my team time and time again, the products I care about are the replacement products. I want to get rid of the nasties. Yeah. What can we replace alcohol with? Trojan horse cannabis drinks. What can replace, a
Red Bull, Monster.
Come on, THCV. Yeah, almost anything in the world. Like, can we go down a road and talk about that first before we go down a toxic road? No, because America's not trained like that. We've got to retrain ourselves. Go ahead, Justin.
It's you know what's wild is I think when I first even met you guys and came on the show, we talked about how the hemp industry can't focus on THC Delta 9, so they focused on every other cannabinoid. It was the only way that industry could see itself competing with the millions, if not billions of dollars in cannabis. And now here we are, a year and a half later, 2 years later, and we're talking about taking all those cannabinoids away from the hemp market and sticking in with the cannabis industry because they had a more successful run at getting lobbyists and things, put in front of other people and all that. But at the end of the day, they both benefit people in some way, shape, or form. You just got to figure out how they play together.
And I look at it a little bit different too sometimes. I look at it as the cannabis industry, right? It's a short play. It really is. Like, it's a short play in this game with the dispensaries and the cultivators. You're going to make your money for the first 5 years, maybe even 7 or 8. But historically, you're not going to sit there as well as you think you are on a high horse for a very long time. What I see here is that they chose their what they're standing and
Their path.
and hemp has chosen theirs, and you can't take that away now that you realize the fault in the line. The line is never, you guys drew the line. It's one plant, one purpose, to heal and to help. And like, to see it separated is weird to begin with, but then to see it forced together and then given to one market or another is a way to kill the conversation of cannabinoids. You'll kill research. You'll kill the ability of my friends to be able to open these cannabinoids up, build out products on their own. We don't know who the next Dr. Scholl's is of weed. You don't know who's going to come up with your whatever it is next. It's not going to be a dispensary that comes out with a brand new healing product that fuses this to that or does something else fabulous in the medical world. It just won't be. It'll be some cat in his basement that was making a CBD bath bomb and then discovered out something else. That's the way it's always been. Go ahead, Justin.
Well, and we're talking strictly humans too. I mean, so you got companies out there like Charlie Boy, they make CBD pet wellness products. And if you take the cannabinoids away from people like that, they're going to shove that into a cannabis market. And are they going to make cannabis CBD gummies or tinctures or treats or like that for animals? I mean, there's a whole equine industry that's chomping at the bit, almost literally, to get into the cannabinoid business because of the amount of money people spend on horses and things like that. I mean, where does chickens for feed and cattle and all this stuff, where does that line get drawn?
Yeah, I was using this roll-on the other day, and I told Steve, I said, man, this tastes like crap. And he's like, what are you talking about? I was like, this CBD tongue roll-on thing says roast beef, and he goes, Waxy, that's for the dog. Stop licking that. I was like, no, I'm just kidding.
Is that the Vlasic? Is that the Vlasic product?
Zen, buddy.
Yeah.
Is it a Vlasic? I don't think it is.
Isn't it?
Maybe. I don't know.
Waxy was over there looking at it and thinking, God, this doesn't taste very good.
It was tasty, though. Yeah. Roast beef. But
here's the thing is, I don't know if you're kidding or not. Like, you could really have done that. I could see you doing that.
I saw him do it and then complain about it. And then hand it back to the dog.
Yeah.
Here, you'll probably like this better than
me.
me.
All right.
Hey, we do got to give Phil kudos on the research and the data and the time that dude has spent on helping us develop this recipe and develop the formula. And
for the folks out there, let's talk a little bit about Captain Crossfade before we go to break. I bet you got a break coming up here.
We got 10 minutes.
Okay, cool. That's plenty of time. So Captain Crossfade is a new product that we put out. And I'm pretty pleased that, and I do want to give a big shout out to Phil because he did put a lot of this work and energy into this product. And I'm going to be real with you guys. I am floored by how well it works. I'm flabbergasted. I am amazed. I am getting reviews back from my friends that are wild. I'm hearing things like hunger suppression. My friends that are dealing with ADHD issues, they're saying, this is working wonders for them. My friends, like I know Brandon Jones is listening. He deals with that same kind of issue. He's sped up all the time. He's like, that helped me. It dialed me in, So I just want to say that this product, Captain Crossfade, is
show that right up there to the camera there.
I'm kind of the culture guy right here, right? Like I love the culture side of it, and I was really having a lot of fun with Justin on the marketing. It's halfway empty.
Oh,
it will be empty. We're having a lot of fun with the marketing side and the monkeys and all that.
It tastes good.
And
it's great.
Yeah. And you know what the taste is? It's exactly like Freezy Pops.
Yes,
You remember
it is.
those?
Yes.
Well, if you're broke, you had Freezy Pops. If you had money or food stamps, you had Otter Pops with the little animals on them. Thank you, Mom, for the
when you're
for
broke,
the food
that's why they
stamps.
tasted like the Freezy Pops, because you didn't have anything to freeze them in.
Yeah, these as soon as I tasted it, it reminded me of my poor past. It is delicious though, but I want to talk a little bit about THCV because some of these stuff that's coming out about it are pretty wild, and I think that it could be the future of athleticism, nurses that need to be dialed in at work without toxins, things like that. It's the
Now,
future.
Is this a hemp derived?
Yep, it's a not monkey derived. I know that, but
Definitely not legume derived.
yeah, it's DHCV and CBC. CBC,
which are both hemp derived products.
yeah, hemp derived
Okay,
products.
yep.
CBC is a very cool cannabinoid as well. It's what's known as a force multiplier. Steve, you'll like this. CBC, if you take some of it and then you use your medication, your dab or whatever, it's going to elevate that high for you a little bit. So like somebody that needs an extreme amount of pain relief,
Right.
or like my cousin deals with a lot
Right.
of pain with
One
his
down in
tumor.
Oklahoma,
Yeah.
right.
It's a better, it's not, I'm not going to say better, but it's a way to increase that pain relief in a quicker way.
And it's got some really good neurological. I mean, it does a lot. Again, this plant is so special.
Yeah.
God knew what he was doing.
But I don't want all these products to just go, all these products that are all over Missouri to just go into dispensaries. I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think that's access.
So this is going to be a Missouri state bill
It's a bill now. It's stalled
Right,
right now.
right.
Well, and listen, we need to give kudos to Ethan Thampy
Sure.
and to hold on,
all the folks at Mohemp Trade.
Yeah, the whole
Kevin?
Kevin Halderman. Holy cow, him hip hooray!
Yep.
With that, the amount of time and energy that guy has put in at the Capitol, man, I tell you.
and
but-
guys like that up there who they'll fight for it. I mean, that would actually put him out of business.
Oh yeah,
You know?
this affects his family. Affects,
Absolutely.
yeah,
You know,
and he's fighting for everybody in the
yes,
industry.
Absolutely.
And I want to be able to get these products. I don't want to have to chase them down. I want them to just be everywhere. I want
Well,
hemp to be everywhere.
You
I don't
know,
want it. I want people don't like
Absolutely.
it, but I want it in the gas stations. I know you don't want to hear it. I want it everywhere.
Well, then let's get it regulated right,
don't
Yeah.
yell at me.
right,
you know,
Justin?
Think about
I
your
mean-
waters and putting that into water and being able to go into the local gas station and grab yourself a can of bottled
Good old
water,
THC water. Yeah.
THCV, and
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, what's the difference of walking in and grabbing a beer? At this point,
It's
I'll
a
tell you
lot
what.
here. Go ahead, Justin.
We can quintuple the dosage on it, and we can put it in the trucker crack and the erection pills. We can do that. We can make a trucker strength Captain Crossfade.
Listen,
Admiral Adderall.
I have changed my mind about you're in charge of all of the marketing. We need to talk offline. All right, guys, we do need to take a break. When we get back, I'm going to talk about interstate commerce and cops on pot. You guys are listening to the Waxy Brown's Flower Power Hour, brought to you live from the Robust Cannabis Studios at KKID 92.9.
I'm so freaking tired this morning. Isn't saying something is indescribable just describing it? If a pregnant woman goes swimming, is she a submarine? What if two bots match on Tinder? Do they ever give up? Do fish get seasick in storms? Why is abbreviated such a long word? If a kid refuses to sleep during nap time, are they guilty of resisting arrest? Pizza is a circle, cut into triangles, and delivered in a square. Wax Off is the greatest dab cleaner ever. Kinda slippery. Huh? Not again! Thanks for waking me up, Lil Waxy.
Here we have a prime example of a macaque. His name is Marcus. This particular macaque is bored. He's tired of the same old concert experience. Us too, little buddy. Well, you're in luck, Marcus. Introducing Captain Crossfade. A blend of THCV and CBC, this drink is the life of the party. Energy and focus, as well as an, enhanced experience with other consumables. Marcus is now ready to party all night long. Look at him go. Brought to you by Waxy Brown.
Chess is the perfect metaphor for business. You have to consider every angle before you move. You and your opponent have the same rules to follow. Not now, Michelle. I'm recording this ad right now. No, I didn't pick up that cheese you like. Well, I didn't see it when I was at the store. What is that in your hand? Oh, this is that fire concentrate we got the other day? Hell yes, I'll do a dab with you. Why didn't you just say that? Oh, this is still recording. Check out the creative minds at Route 66 Labs. Obama. Out!
People always ask me, how do you do it? What's your secret? How long did it take? What kind of dedication do you have? How do you do it every day? Well, the truth is, I'm high as shit most of the time, and I wax off a lot. I mean a lot.
At BesaMe Wellness, we're all about supporting the health and well-being of our community. With a wide selection of locally curated medical marijuana products, we'll help find what works best for you. Don't have a card? Let us help navigate the application process. And if you can't make it to one of our 5 convenient locations, we'll even deliver to your door. Visit us in-store or online at BesaMeWellness.com.
Here we have a prime example of a macaque. His name is Marcus. This particular macaque is bored. He's tired of the same old concert experience. Us too, little buddy. Well, you're in luck, Marcus. Introducing Captain Crossfade, a blend of THCV and CBC. This drink is the life of the party. Energy and focus, as well as an, enhanced experience with other consumables. Marcus is now ready to party all night long. Look at him go. Brought to you by Waxy Brown.
I'm so freaking tired this morning. Isn't saying something is indescribable just describing it? If a pregnant woman goes swimming, is she a submarine? What if two bots match on Tinder? Do they ever give up? Do fish get seasick in storms? Why is abbreviated such a long word? If a kid refuses to sleep during nap time, are they guilty of resisting arrest? Pizza is a circle, cut into triangles, and delivered in a square. Wax Off is the greatest dab cleaner ever. Kinda slippery. Huh? Not again! Thanks for waking me up, Lil Waxy.
Premium brand. Different. Organic. We're the best. High quality. Unique. Premium brand. Different. Unique. Premium high quality. We're different. We're different. Premium brand.
Well, all right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Waxy Brown's Flower Power Hour, brought to you live from the Robust Cannabis Studios, KKID 92.9. All right. What a crazy show so far. So I want to talk to you guys about a couple little subjects here. Before I drop on into my Cops on Pot episode, or a segment I'm going to talk about, I want to talk a little bit about interstate commerce and why that's important to keep talking about on the show. Steve wants the people to be able to see my shiny face.
That's right. You're sitting behind your.
You're like pointing. I'm like, what am I doing? Am I doing? I'll move it this. What do you want? I got it. All right. So, interstate commerce. Now, for you cats out there that are listening to the show that maybe don't know what that is, interstate commerce means that if I have a product in Missouri that I want to sell in California, I simply sell it to the folks in California. It's actually protected by our United States Constitution. Interstate commerce is. It's actually protected in a way that it is illegal to not have interstate commerce and to bar interstate commerce. It's unconstitutional. But because it's federally illegal still, cannabis, they can kind of skirt that because we don't necessarily fall under the United States constitutional rules if we're illegal, right? So that's what we're dealing with is right now. If I have cannabis, let's look at Oklahoma, has a very large amount of extra cannabis.
Right.
Okay, then you look at Missouri, who is selling about every gram we have on the shelves and trying to keep up.
Right.
So technically, in any other industry, if that was toilet paper or peanuts, they could just sell the toilet paper or peanuts to cover up our market. That's why when we run out of toilet paper, we run out in all the states, not just one. It's not Mississippi ran out of toilet paper, so we're in trouble. No one can send toilet paper there. That's illegal. It's not like that with cannabis. It is like that with cannabis. So some states, though, as they further their laws and get ready for what we believe is right down the pipeline, federal legalization might even be
I thought
fight.
you said it short on toilet paper.
No, I think that federal legalization will become a fight in the a part of the presidential 2024 election. It's going to be a big part of it.
It should be.
Interstate commerce is coming. That's what I'm saying. Now, states
States
like Missouri, yeah, you're right. It should be. States like Missouri don't have that in our law books. When it goes federally legal and interstate commerce is federally allowed by our Constitution, Missouri will be left holding the ball, not being able to because we wrote in our laws that we couldn't. That's because the industry likes to protect itself and be able to.
But that's not reality.
It's not reality.
No.
And in fact, there's been several states who have struck that down through the courts, and this will be another one eventually. I just think that you can't stop interstate commerce. Your brand's either big and bold and beautiful enough to withstand it, and your product's good enough, or find a rock and kick it.
Well, go back to the application process when we started medical. You had to be a resident of Missouri.
Right.
And I think there's several companies in Missouri now that have no residency issues. So it's all going to open up.
Yeah, and there were time constraints for that, right? Like after like a 2-year period, those rules and laws loosened. So let's talk a little bit about states that are doing it right. Lawmakers filed a bill to allow Maine to enter into interstate cannabis commerce agreements with other legalized states. The legislation from Representative Joseph Perry, a Democrat, would make Maine one of a small but growing number of states to allow for marijuana imports and exports pending a federal policy change, meaning they're setting it up to bowl that
So
lane.
once it's off a Schedule 1 drug,
right,
and not federally illegal, then
right.
it's
As
just
long
gonna
as once the
go-
feds move out of the way, interstate commerce is going to be a wide open, rushing flood of business, a flood of
and
business.
the strong will survive,
That's right, and that's correct. That's a great way to put that.
or the best will survive.
Whatever smokes the best, yeah, will survive. Under the proposal, the government would be able to forge agreements with other legal cannabis states, quote, authorizing the transportation, cultivation, manufacturing, testing, purchase, sale, or distribution of cannabis or cannabis products into and out of this state, the bill text states. But the interstate commerce activity could only proceed under one of four circumstances. One, if federal law changes. If congressional lawmakers restrict agency funding so the feds won't be able to enforce the ban on interstate commerce. Anybody get
No.
that one?
Well, explain that one.
We're going to restrict agency funding. We're not going to give them the money to be able to chase down interstate commerce. That's one way, choke them out. And then if the federal Justice Department issues a memorandum. Now, there's another really good one. If the federal Justice Department, which currently is ran by a fairly cannabis-friendly administration, when you look at I'm not talking about the politicians, I'm talking about the Justice Department. If they could issue a memorandum tolerating that commerce, or if the U.S. Attorney General, okay, who's also pro-weed, if he issues a general written opinion authorizing the marijuana imports and exports, wouldn't put the state at increased risk of enforcement action. So there's lots of ways that we could actually pop this whistle off. We don't necessarily have to wait for the feds. If we want to tell them we're not going to fund that crap, okay? We've got all these states making all this money, and you have states that could be doing a lot better, jobs that could be a lot more funded, programs that could be better funded, taxes like ours that go towards vets could be utilized better. That's what we're looking at here. And so there's ways that could happen and ways that it couldn't. And so that's what we're waiting for, right? And a lot of states are going to be ready, and you'll see those states will make a mint. I'm calling it now. They'll make a mint. So
let me ask you real quick.
Yep.
Transportation in Missouri is extremely important to the economy. Would you agree?
You're about to touch on something that I want to talk about. Yes, absolutely.
So why would we not embrace that? Not only embrace that, but create the avenue for those channels.
Are you going to go around us?
That's right.
You can't go around the Midwest. You can't do it. We are very key. Your railroad tracks go through us. Your riverways go through us. Your airways fly above us. We're very key to all of the logistical decisions that happen in the United States of America.
Route 66 goes through you too. Just throwing that out there. Just
yeah, it does. Route 66 does go right through Missouri.
I mean,
whatever.
Big shout out to Route 66 Labs. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this all takes place, and it's going to happen so fast, fellas. I'm talking like we're going to see movement very quickly. We've got Booker making movements right now. We've got Schumer making movements right now. They're going to resurrect right now. They're talking about resurrecting the bills that they were looking at passing last year with the CARE Act, safe banking, things like that. They're trying to figure out a way to pass this. It's just that it became so big, Prohibition did, so nasty, that dialing it back is not with the swift signature. It's just not how it works.
Happen overnight.
Can't happen overnight. So it's very interesting to see Maine jump on board. I wouldn't have called that. I'm very glad they are. They joined Oregon and California as some of the states that are ready to do this. So that's interesting. I want to see how you're going to get your weed from California to Maine without
words right out of my mouth.
without our help.
They're going to fly. They're going to fly.
But then they're flying over states
I'm
that are
going to put up so many
illegal,
air balloons. I'm going
yeah.
Hey, you think that's a job?
Which one?
Right?
Air
No, like
balloons?
flying the air balloon with the weed in it from California to Maine.
Did you say air balloon? Like a dirigible? Like, are you going way back to World War I stuff?
Yeah.
Like,
No, not like
That's the Wizard
not the
of Oz,
Heisenberg or whatever, but like
That's
a
New Mexico.
Wizard of Oz kind. Yeah, that's what we want. That's what I
Dorothy?
think.
I mean, no one going with the Kansas reference?
Right.
We're
Click-
going to land in
click
the
your heels.
Emerald City.
Yeah, Emerald Triangle City. Yeah, I'm into it.
That'd be my luck. I'd wreck in Kansas.
Well, and technically speaking, Kansas and Nebraska have interstate commerce of cannabis. They just don't recognize it right now.
That's a good call. All right. Cops on pot. All right. 4 New Jersey police officers are preparing to sue New Jersey after being fired for testing positive for marijuana. And these are cops, despite being protected under the state's cannabis legalization law and guidance from the state attorney general. The New Jersey officers said that they used cannabis purchased from licensed dispensaries while off the job. That activity should be legally protected as the state constitution prohibits employers from taking adverse action, and we have this also, adverse action against workers solely for marijuana activity that's been made lawful. We have the same law in Missouri. So these cops are saying that's what the law says. That's what we should be able to do. But wait till you hear how they got him. But New Jersey officials contend that the department's firearm policy puts them in a unique position to penalize the officers who are required to purchase their own guns, meaning that they're individually subjected to federal rules that ban people who use cannabis from purchasing firearms. And they're changing that next week federally. That's up for vote. That's going to change next week, I believe. And that's got bipartisan support that they're going to protect all cannabis users in all 50 states that are legally using cannabis from a federal level from having issues with guns. So next week, these cops should sue again and get their damn jobs back. But so that's how they got him, right? They said, well, we force you to purchase your own guns. So when you do that, you're breaking the law. We're firing you. So Peter Paris, a lawyer representing the unnamed officers, told the New Jersey City Times that the city's arguments ignore the fact that the state's entire legal cannabis market is illegal in the eyes of the federal government, and that the state legislators and officials have already contemplated the employment implications of the reform. Specifically, New Jersey Attorney General Matthew Platnick, a Democrat, issued a memo last year clarifying that state law prohibits law enforcement agencies from penalizing police who use marijuana in compliancy. Their attorney general, top cop, told the cops, you can't bust these 4 guys. I'm top cop. I said all my cops can smoke weed when they're not cops off duty.
I like that dude.
I'm a fan of Mr. Matthew Platnick, Democrat from New Jersey. But it's kind of interesting because but everybody has an endocannabinoid system, right? And the cops, they deal with some of the worst crap on the planet. We pour it on them. We put the crap in front of them and tell them they got to clean it up.
Well, I got to deal with people like you.
I know. And then you don't expect them to want a joint at the end of the day. You'd rather them run to the bourbons and the whiskeys and the vodkas,
right? Well, that's what we do now.
Yeah, it's interesting. And like, how are they? Because cops, you point me a cop that doesn't have a bad back. You're sitting in a cop car all day long. When you're not in the cop car, you're doing awful things like show me someone that doesn't need pain relief that isn't toxic to them. And what are they prescribing them? Because they all have benefits. They all have health benefits. You know what's beneficial about health benefits? Hardly anything. Anything. When you walk in a hospital, it's not a lot beneficial unless your arm is broken, as far as I'm concerned.
You know what we should do, Waxy? We should make a THCV donut just to mess with law enforcement agencies around the country.
That's not a bad idea.
Just say that on the air.
That's not a bad idea. Even my cop friends be like, that's a pretty doggone good idea.
Do you have the number for Krispy Kremes? Talk about selling $150 million worth of donuts next month here.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
Hey, well, what's the difference between that and your coffee pods? It's the same thing, right? You're just dunking it.
I'm calling my friends at Vivid tomorrow. We got to find a Missouri donut company to team up with immediately.
Dialed in donuts. We'll call them that.
I don't know about that part, but I don't know. Badges and baguettes. I don't care. Just get these guys some weed. That's how I feel about it. Like, I don't, it's what it is.
Well, have I told you about HB, 292 down here in New Mexico?
No.
So
the fire department.
Yeah, last year we lost basically the equivalent of half the state of Rhode Island in a fire. Something I want to say it's like close to 1,000 structures gone and livestock and all that kind of stuff. We didn't lose any people, thank God, but the toll that working 24 hours a day, month after month on these firefighters, the state put forward a bill, I think it's HB 292 or 929, I can't remember, but they are trying to get them to allow them to take medical cannabis to deal with not only their ailments from just being beat up on the job, but from the PTSD from, you came around a corner and there was a horse barn with 40 horses that never made it out. I mean, just horrific things that these guys have to deal with. And it's funny because it's mirroring the same thing you just talked about with the cops. It says, if you're a government official or a government employee like that, as long as you don't have a gun, you could get access to medical cannabis.
Yeah, and that, you know, and as soon as the federal government makes this change with guns, it changes the whole conversation there. That no longer, and not that they're in the right, but it takes away, once again, it takes away one of those ingredients that they've used against us to build the cake of prohibition. It's like just one more thing. It's like, yeah, we're legal over there, and yeah, it's perfect. It says it right there in Constitution, blah, 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 but we're going to find a loophole to screw you over anyway. Doesn't make any sense. You need us to take a break? You got that? I'd take a break look.
I got that take a break look. Get the last one out of the way here, buddy.
All right. So we are going to take a break. When I get back, I'm going to talk a little bit about what Afro Man's got going on and a little bit about what the hemp industry is dealing with. They're losing big, big money out there because there isn't the type of regulation that we need in the United States of America for that plant. You guys are listening to Waxy Brown's Flower Power Hour, brought to you live from the Robust Cannabis Studios right here at KK 92.9.
Check out the creative minds at Route 66 Labs. Obama. Out.
Yo, what's up? My name is Klaus, and I'm very excited to be a part of Team Wax Off with the commercials. My man Carlos is the guy who pushes the button on the camera, but I'm really the creative genius. So what I like to do with products is I put them in places where people can understand how they work. With Wax Off, this is very easy. I got a filthy, gross pipe, and I put wax off in it. It's so simple. Pour it in sexy, Carlos. So just pour it in a little side. No, that's too... Carlos, that's too sexy. Dial it back. Okay, Carlos, pick it up and shake that. Shake it like a Polaroid picture, you little... Okay, now take it and rinse it out with water. It's been too long. Wash it. Okay, now, Carlos, bring it back and show them the clean one. Okay, there it is. And there it is. It is clean and sexy. That is it. We're done now. Enjoy the photos and buy wax off because it is super sexy. A Vidal tools, everybody.
At BesaMe Wellness, we're all about supporting the health and well-being of our community. With a wide selection of locally curated medical marijuana products, we'll help find what works best for you. Don't have a card? Let us help navigate the application process. And if you can't make it to one of our 5 convenient locations, we'll even deliver to your door. Visit us in-store or online at besamewellness.com.
Here we have a prime example of a macaque. His name is Marcus. This particular macaque is bored. He's tired of the same old concert experience. Us too, little buddy. Well, you're in luck, Marcus. Introducing Captain Crossfade, a blend of THCV and CBC. This drink is the life of the party. Energy and focus, as well as an, enhanced experience with other consumables. Marcus is now ready to party all night long. Look at him go. Brought to you by Waxy Brown.
Hemp and cannabis marketing can be tough going. Traditional marketing ideas can make it an uphill struggle. The truth is, you can't rely on traditional marketing in this game. You need a creative way to the top. At Route 66 Labs, we've got you covered. With over 20 years of sales and marketing expertise, you're in for one hell of a ride. Websites, marketing strategy, graphics, social media, and more. They'll hire faster than Route 66 Labs.
I'm so freaking tired this morning. Isn't saying something is indescribable just describing it? If a pregnant woman goes swimming, is she a submarine? What if two bots match on Tinder? Do they ever give up? Do fish get seasick in storms? Why is abbreviated such a long word? If a kid refuses to sleep during nap time, are they guilty of resisting arrest? Pizza is a circle, cut into triangles, and delivered in a square. Wax Off is the greatest dab cleaner ever. Kinda slippery. Huh? Not again! Thanks for waking me up, Lil Waxy.
Here we have a prime example of a macaque. His name is Marcus. This particular macaque is bored. He's tired of the same old concert experience. Us too, little buddy. Well, you're in luck, Marcus. Introducing Captain Crossfade, a blend of THCV and CBC. This drink is the life of the party. Energy and focus, as well as an, enhanced experience with other consumables. Marcus is now ready to party all night long. Look at him go. Brought to you by Waxy Brown.
I'm so freaking tired this morning. Isn't saying something is indescribable just describing it? If a pregnant woman goes swimming, is she a submarine? What if two bots match on Tinder? Do they ever give up? Do fish get seasick in storms? Why is abbreviated such a long word? If a kid refuses to sleep during nap time, are they guilty of resisting arrest? Pizza is a circle, cut into triangles, and delivered in a square. Wax Off is the greatest dab cleaner ever. Kinda slippery. Huh? Not again! Thanks for waking me up, Lil Waxy.
Chess is the perfect metaphor for business.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Waxy Brown's Flower Power Hour, brought to you live from the robust Cannabis Studios right here in the heart of the Grozarks, K-Kid 92.9. And I want to give a big shout out to our digital side platforms with our YouTube and our Facebook with Justin Trowbridge, Route 66 Labs, putting that whole production on over there, and that is not easy. So I thank you very much, my friend. All right, folks, I want to get into a little bit of, before I talk about Afro Man, he's a friend of ours on the show and kind of been doing his thing here in Missouri. I want to talk about hemp a little more, and then I'll stop talking about the boring stuff.
Wait. Hold on. Hemp is the game.
Yeah, I agree.
It's the game. So we can't call it the boring stuff. It's actually way more exciting. When you think about the amount of people, the animals, hemp is going to take over this industry. It's going to take over agriculture.
Okay, Dad.
Okay. I'm good now.
Right. Pick up your piece of paper.
I feel better too, Tim.
Thanks,
Tim,
Steve. Appreciate it, man.
Look for hemp loses. Hemp loses is what you're looking for. Go, Justin.
And you might be missing this important little piece of history for the show.
Welcome to the Hemp Guy, talking cannabis. Waxy bounce.
That's how you get. I mean, I can start it again if you want, but I figured you wanted to talk.
We need to bring that back, man. I missed that song, dude. I know every lyric.
If he turns the water off, we're in trouble.
Yeah, that's a fact, Jack. All right, you found your hemp loses?
I'm on it. Yep.
Okay, all right. So the hemp industry took a major plunge in 2022. A new report from the USDA shows stakeholders say that the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA's refusal to issue regulations for CBD products is largely to blame. USDA's National Hemp Report shows significant losses in the value and cultivation of the non-intoxicating cannabis crop across every single metric that it analyzed in 2022. Last year, quote, the value of hemp production in the open and under protection for the United States totaled $238 million. That's down 71% in 1 year.
Right. We got to change that.
That's insane. Farmers, and this is in the United States. This is a silly small number. Farmers grew 28,000 acres of industrial hemp in the open last year. 28,000 acres. Corn is millions of acres. Soy is millions of acres. Why do we only have 28,000 acres of hemp in the ground? Because those are trailblazers, and that's the amount of people that are brave enough to go forward in a time where federal legalization says that we can't.
We're starting
or with a budding market.
But we are starting to have farmers stand up and say, wait, I want into this. I want to learn this.
Right.
1 acre at a time.
So now when you're talking about your 28,000 acres of hemp, is that actually for
industrial processes? Yep, okay. Industrial processes. So that's we want to build every house out of hemp, right? You can't build every house out of hemp with 28,000 acres. You can't build 10 houses. I don't know the numbers, but that's not nearly enough, right? Instead, we're still getting all of our products and all of our hemp from Canada. So we need to. That's got to change because that's jobs, that's farmers, that's legacy farms, that's generational farms.
So how many acres of hemp you think they grow up in Canada?
All of it, but 4 acres. 4 acres are
all of it, but 4 acres.
Yeah, or for corn. I mean, 4 acres of corn and 1 billion acres of hemp. I don't know.
Actually, Canada controls a lot of biomass of hemp.
Right.
And there was some law that was written when Obama was in that they couldn't transport it into the United States.
Obama's still in. He just called
it. Right. My bad.
Just kidding.
No, you're right. My bad. My bad.
I'm just kidding. But so it says here floral hemp production fell 66%. Grain hemp dropped 44%. Fiber hemp declined by 34%. And seed hemp plummeted 92%. Hemp clones and transplants down 94%. The market's dying because our government refuses to allow these folks to farm this hemp. It's bat crap crazy. I never seen anything like it.
We have hundreds of millions of dollars sitting in pools trying to do soil regeneration, and that's exactly what hemp's going to do to our soil. And we can't get access to that.
Cows that are fed hemp seed cake retain very low concentrations of THC and CBD, and they're finding that these cattle that are being fed the hemp that we've been talking about, perfectly safe for our consumption and don't get us high, and the cows are less stressed, and the meat's better. It's stop.
They were worried about THCA of all things, not Delta 9, not any other cannabinoids. They were worried about THCA in steaks with cow.
That's right. Somebody say the steaks have never been higher. I don't want to say it again. All right, stop.
No.
Okay.
Hey, Justin, Thick Omaha Steaks would like to invest somewhere in the hemp game. That's an Omaha company, right?
Yeah. It's the Simon family. Well, it used to be anyway. But before I left Nebraska, I actually talked to a cattle farm family that had one of the larger tracts of cattle ranches out there. They're like, hey, we're thinking about growing hemp in some of our pastures and fields. I'm like, perfect, let's do it. Let's feed it to the cows. And the family was like, well, we got to see the dollars and cents of it and all that kind of stuff. And ended up not going that route. But they were looking at converting tens of thousands of acres into hemp fiber and grain.
Well, there's only 28,000 of them being grown now. So, tens of thousands would double what we already got in the United States. One company could double what we got. Like, that's just real. Like
one farm
rancher.
And I don't want to hear Nike or Monsanto or any of these companies before we help our generational and farmers, before we help these folks that need this more than a corporation would.
It is a generational farm because grandma and grandpa anti-weed.
Yeah.
Anti-weed. So it's that third generation that's coming through that's what's changing this dynamic. I mean, the age of the farmer is important.
Puff, plant. That's what they need to do.
Amen.
Just plant it. Just get it in the ground.
There's a lot of them that have been around the game.
And I want to read the last part of this, and I'll move on to Fro Afroman's situation. Without an FDA-approved way to market CBD as dietary supplements or in the food supply, I'm going to reread that. Without an FDA-approved way to market CBD as dietary supplements or in the food supply, okay, those are the two lanes. You're a dietary supplement or your food. Without CBD being in those lanes, hemp growers producing the crop for its flower have been stuck in a holding pattern, unable to fully profit from what has historically been the most lucrative component of the plant. So right now, our government is choking these cats out. They just have to make a few decisions up top, and we have so much economy that we can solve right there on the ground.
How much healthcare can we
Where
solve?
are they trying to push it to then?
Push it to?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, they're trying to say that all the dispensaries should be handling the CBD.
Well, that's just in Missouri. This is a United States phenomenon that our hemp market is depleting quickly overnight. So, we're not even talking about just Delta 8. We're talking about bedding, clothing, shoes, food,
plastics, batteries,
protein, paper, all of it. And Missouri could be the one. We could be the Canada of hemp here in the United States.
You were at one point.
We were top producers. All right, I said I'd talk about Afro Man a little bit, and we're running out of time. My boy's in trouble here, but he's found some help.
How can he get in trouble?
So, the American,
because he got high.
Yeah, because he got extra high. So I'll let you know a little bit of what's going on here. So the American Civil Liberties Union, the ACLU, along with the organization's Ohio chapter, has filed a proposed omnibus brief supporting Afro Man in a civil lawsuit brought against him by 7 cops who were upset that the artist used footage of their marijuana raid on his home in a music video. Now, Afro Man, whose real name is Joseph Foreman, was sued last month by members of the Adams County, Ohio Sheriff's Department office who conducted a 2022 search of his home that targeted, quote, unknown quantities of marijuana and, quote, paraphernalia used for the sale and administration of drugs. That sounds like baggies and scales that they might have went after. We use those for storage and portioning here in Missouri. I don't know what you're doing over there. As well as suspicion of kidnapping, but which ultimately resulted in only trace amounts of cannabis being found. Fro is bankrupt. Y'all hit him at the wrong time, y'all. In addition to Foreman being named in the civil lawsuit, 5 other entities that help market and distribute the Afro Man brand were also listed as dependents. The officers are seeking damages and relief, and the first hearing in the case is scheduled for Thursday, which is 4/20. So I'm not sure what happened since then, but it touches on several legal questions, including First Amendment rights and the harms of marijuana prohibition enforcement. Now, we all know Afro Man rose to prominence in the 2000s after his single, Because I Got High, debuted and sold over 1.5 million copies. The incident at the heart of the lawsuit occurred on August 21st, just here, 2022, when Afro Man's home was subjected to a SWAT raid. Pursuant to a search warrant, Afro Man was not at home at the time of the incident, but his wife was inside the home and captured images and footage of the raid on her cell phone. The residents were also equipped with Fro's house was equipped with home surveillance cameras that recorded all of the footage while they raided his home. Ultimately, they only found trace amounts of marijuana and a little over $5,000 in cash. Now, no charges were ever filed. The cash was confiscated upon suspicion that it was proceeds from drug trafficking. It was returned months later, however, Initially, the return sum of cash was reportedly missing $400. $400 went missing when the cops took it. Despite
transfer fees.
Yeah, but despite being contained in bags that were both sealed prior to the counting process. A subsequent audit of body cam footage determined that the missing money was the result of a miscount. Yep. It's alleged in the lawsuit court filing that after the search was concluded, Foreman used portions of the recordings of the search from his wife's phone and his surveillance cameras to create a music video of the search. And it's been played all over. It's got millions of views. People are loving it. The officers alleged that Fro posted content online on Instagram and YouTube at least a dozen times and, quote, created, performed, posted, and publicized these and other depictions of their personas for commercial purposes without authorization. Now, they allege that he created and sold merchandise, which he did, depicting some of the officers. Full disclosure, I'm ordering one of those shirts. They're pretty great.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Steve.
It just seems to me that they're the ones who opened the door.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And if you're going to come in and, I mean, they had all their ducks in a row in their warrants, but nowhere did it say that I can't use my home video or whatever for whatever I want to use it for.
You know what they're really mad about? Fro's making money. That's what it comes down to.
And they didn't find anything.
All the well, I think it's a little different than that. I think that they're really mad. I think individually, if I'm Officer Douchebag that came in and did this to Afro Man, I'm going to be mad that Fro's making money off me. So, because here's the way it ends. All the plaintiffs in the lawsuit are officers employed by Adams County Sheriff's Office, including 4 deputies, 2 sergeants, and a detective. The complaint alleges that they have, quote, and tell me that Afro Man didn't suffer the same thing, quote, suffered damages, including all profits derived from and attributable to the defendant's unauthorized use of plaintiff's personas, meaning they want money because he used their face, and have suffered, quote, humiliation, ridicule, mental distress, embarrassment, and loss of reputation.
Oh, they can dish it out, but they can't take it.
One of those Fro did not have. He did not get a loss of reputation from this. This did nothing but put him in everything from Rolling Stones to every headline. Even Fro said in a recent interview, he said, man, I pay him a little. I've gotten so much out of it. They probably, if they wanted, I would give them a little,
Does it say how much they're suing for?
It does not have, I guess it's kind of a sealed deal. They're not telling us how much they're suing for. I don't know.
Well, that'd be even better that he actually paid him.
Yeah, I did look up. You know what Afro Man's net worth is? A big star, right? 100,000. That's what his net worth is. Don't think you're going after some big bomber dude. This dude's been hustling out of his Cadillac for the last 20 years. Stop pretending like you didn't get a little notoriety. If I'm
1.5 million copies goes pretty quick over 20 years time, right?
Yeah. Right. If I'm Officer Dumbface, my nephews and nieces are like, oh, cool, you're in the video I saw. They'd be pretty proud of it. But no,
we should go raid Snoop's house and sue him afterward.
I don't think that would go very well for him.
It wouldn't end well, but it might.
Yeah, it might take him a while too. That house is big. All right, y'all. It's been a great show. How much time I got, Steve?
3 seconds.
You're listening to Waxy Rounds Flower Power, brought to you live from the Robust Cannabis Studios. We'll catch you guys next week. Stay waxy on us.